Hello everyone, this is Fagen et al. Before we start, we need to know that traditional elephant training in Nepal usually relies on punishment and fear, which is usually very unethical, which is why Dr. Fagen here wanted to see if we could make this more ethical that is beneficial for both the elephants and the trainer through SPR, which is just secondary positive reinforcement. Fagen wanted to use SPR to train captive elephants to voluntarily participate in trunk washes for tuberculosis testing, which is very important for elephants' health. As for the aim in Fagen, it was to investigate whether SPR techniques could effectively train traditionally trained elephants in Nepal to voluntarily participate in trunk wash procedures. As for the research method, it's an observation, since the researchers are just observing and recording the elephant's behavior during the training process without directly manipulating any other variables that are in the environment. As for the sample size in Fagen, the elephants are all from Nepal and it was 5 female elephants in total. There were 4 juvenile elephants aged between 5 to 7 and an adult elephant that is estimated to be in her 50s. Now, the sampling technique used was opportunity sampling, however, there were selection criteria, such as the elephant cannot be pregnant nor nursing at that time. All the elephants used were from Nepal and they all lived in the same elephant sanctuary. Something else we need to know is the experimental design, as the researcher collected data before the training and after the training, making this a repeated measures design. Now the researchers prepare some chopped bananas which feeds the elephant, but it also serves another purpose of being a primary reinforcer to the elephant. Next is the secondary reinforcer, which is a short whistle blast. The whistle paired with the bananas creates a conditioned association. This phenomenon can be explained through classical conditioning, and hopefully this image helps. Moving on is the elephant's training session that happened in the morning from 7:30 to 10 a.m. and the afternoon from 4 to 7 p.m. The mahouts for the elephants were present to ensure the safety of the researchers, and they're basically the elephant's handler. They were present to observe and make sure the elephant and the researchers are both safe. However, they were told not to interact with the elephants during the training to make sure that any observed changes were only due to the SPR training. Another thing is to ensure that the elephants would not drink the saline solution used for the trunk wash. Next is the elephant went through a series of progressive training stages that uses secondary positive reinforcement. The elephants were trained to do these in a sequence that would eventually be a full trunk wash sequence, and this could be explained through behavioral training. To put it simply, it's basically where each steps are a cue for the next step. There were no fixed time limits for each stage, as it was determined by the elephant's learning pace. Going back, I hope you guys remember that the researchers had to establish a link between the primary reinforcer, which is the banana, and the secondary reinforcer, which is the whistle. Establishing the link between the reinforcers is also known as bridge training. The elephants were trained individually on 5 basic behaviors, which are also known as target behaviors. First is trunk care, where the elephant is lured to place the tip of their trunk on the trainer's hand. Next is trunk up. The elephant is lured to lift her trunk upwards. The next target behavior is bucket, where the elephant places her trunk tip into a bucket. Next is blow. This is captured when the elephant blows air out of her trunk. The next behavior is called steady. It's just maintaining any specific trunk position for a certain duration. To make the elephants do the desired behavior that I just talked about, the researchers trained them using different techniques. The first one is called capture. This involves the researcher to wait for the elephant to naturally do a behavior, then rewarding it immediately so the elephant can repeat it. The next technique is called lure. This is when the researchers uses the chopped banana to guide the elephant into doing a behavior. An example would be the trunk up behavior, where the researchers uses chopped banana to lure the elephant to lift her trunk upwards. The next one is shaping. This is when the researcher teaches a difficult behavior step by step by rewarding small actions that get closer to the final behavior. For your convenience, here's a basic summary for all the techniques, and here's an overall summary for all of them. Once the elephant have mastered a behavior, it was paired with a verbal cue, so the elephant would learn to associate each cue with a specific behavior. The verbal cue used for the elephants were in one syllable and non-words. More importantly, there were no real languages, and it had no meaning in either English or Nepali. This was done intentionally to prevent the mahouts from accidentally influencing the elephants with real words, as well as to prevent the elephants from picking up any unintended meanings. Now we need to go back to behavioral training. When the elephants have mastered the individual behaviors, they were trained to link them to become a full sequence. At first, it was short sequences, such as linking bucket with blow. Then gradually it became longer sequences, with the elephants completing each behavior, then finally doing the complete sequence. Every time the elephant do a complete sequence, it was rewarded with a primary reinforcer, the banana, and this motivated the elephant to continue doing the complete sequence. Moving on to the next stage of the procedure. The researchers prepared a saline solution, and this is primarily used to desensitize the elephants. Ethics-wise, this is also to make it more ethical and effective, as it doesn't harm the elephants and gets them used to the saline solution. And using the banana as a reward made it more ethical, as well as conducting the research in their natural habitat. And that will be all for today. Thank you.